In the unfolding drama of the Nativity story, not all who envision the coming of Christ do so with joy and worship. There's one for whom the birth of this new king signals not hope, but threat, not jubilation, but fear. This is Herod, the king of Judea, a man whose vision is clouded by the desire for power and control. When the Magi come seeking the one who is born king of the Jews, Herod's heart is stirred, not with anticipation, but with anxiety. He too envisions the coming Christ, but through the dark lens of self-preservation. Herod's response to the Magi's quest is cunning and duplicitous. He asks them to find the child and report back, masking his malice with feigned reverence. His vision is one of disruption and destruction. He cannot see the Messiah through the eyes of faith, only through the prism of his own insecurity and ambition. Herod represents the antithesis of the Advent spirit, a heart closed to the transformative power of God's love, a will bent not on adoration, but on annihilation. In the shadow of Herod's intentions, we find a stark contrast to the wonder and worship that ought to mark the season of Advent. Yet it is within this contrast that we can find a powerful reminder of how we're called to envision the coming of Christ. As we ponder Herod's role in the Christmas narrative, let's also examine how our visions align with the heart of God. Inspired by this contemplation, here are some Advent practices to embody living opposite of Herod. Cultivate humility. Herod's downfall was his pride and fear of losing status. This Advent, practice humility, serve others anonymously, give without recognition, and place the needs of others before our own. Embody the servant nature of Christ. Secondly, we can embrace vulnerability. Herod's vision was impaired by his need for control. In this season, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Share your doubts and your fears with a trusted friend or a family member or with community, and ask for help when needed. Let the vulnerability of the infant Jesus inspire you to open your heart to others. And finally, seek the welfare of others. Where Herod sought to secure his own power at the expense of the innocent, we're called to seek the welfare of those around us. Advocate for justice. Stand up for the marginalized, and use any influence you have to protect and uplift the vulnerable within our community. As we journey through Advent, may we reject the ways of Herod and instead envision the coming of Christ as a call to be humble, vulnerable, and selfless in service. May our practices this season reflect the light of Christ, the true King, whose reign is marked by love and whose coming is good news for all the world.